Hi, my name is Daniel Lee, and the influencer I'm doing my little video on is Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson is most notably known for uh, creating the Unix operating system in 1970, and Unix is a widely used operating system. I work in semiconductors, and I have a tool that has a Unix operating system that we still use today, 50 years later, and the algorithms that we use on that tool are based off the C programming language, which Ken Thompson also helped develop. So it's pretty cool that, I have a connection to Ken, all these years later, and he's still around. So he's kind of like a legend. Here's his picture right here. Kind of looks like a mugshot of somebody who robbed a liquor store or something, but he's one of the best known programmers of our generation. So Ken was born in 1943 in New Orleans, and he studied electronics engineering at Berkeley. And I was watching an interview. Berkeley had this, really big computer, and Ken he knew the people in the computer department, so he would get the keys, and after hours he'd go in and mess around with his computer. And at the time, Berkeley didn't have a computer science program. Computer science was a new thing at the time. And towards the end of his time at Berkeley, Ken was highly recruited by Bell Labs. They would constantly try to have meetings with him. They would go to his house and knock on his door. They sent him out to the East Coast in the mid 60s to go do an interview at Bell, and he said he went in there and he was reading the names on all the office doors, and he knew all the people at the time. They were the top electrical engineers and computer science engineers at the time. So Ken finally started working there, and his first assignment was working on Multics. Multics was a complex early operating system. It was a collaboration between General Electric's MIT and Bell Labs. And during this project, Bell Labs left the project, and they just decided that Bell Labs wasn't going to be involved in operating systems anymore. Ken, he worked on this project, and he's still interested in operating systems. And a little bit later on, he was developing algorithms to improve this disk drive they had. And you can imagine back in the 70s, this would be a huge mechanical device. And while he was doing this, he started to realize that the programs that he was making to test this disk drive, that, they could be better optimized in an operating system. So my first quote from Ken, he said, "At some point, I realized without knowing it up until that point that I was 3 weeks away from an operating system." And this is when he was working on that disk drive. So in these 3 weeks, he crammed, and that's when he invented Unix. He said his wife is out visiting his in-laws, so he had time. She was away. He had time to put in a lot of work. Unix was immediately adopted by his immediate coworkers, notably Dennis Ritchie, who also gets a lot of credit for Unix, John Osana, and Douglas McElroy. But Bell Labs, they didn't want to have anything to do with operating systems. They were into high-tech text editors at the time. It was kind of funny. I was watching a video from the 70s or 80s, and their high-tech text editor was something that could do spell check. So that's what they're into. So Ken and his coworkers wanted to get a brand new computer so they can further develop Unix, but Bell Labs wasn't doing operating systems. So Ken and his teammates convinced the management that they needed this new computer to make an editor for writing patents, and that's how they got this new computer. And once they got this new computer, they put Unix on it, and they were further able to develop Unix as an operating system. Another quote from Ken Thompson: in the late 1960s, Dennis Ritchie and I realized that the then current operating systems were much too complex. We attempted to reverse this trend by building a small, simple operating system on a microcomputer. So, after they put all this work in and they got the computer of Unix, then Unix as an operating system was accepted by Bell Labs. They thought it was a good idea. Unix is known as the first portable operating system. Ken also developed grep, which is like a search program in Unix, and pipes. And pipes allows the operating system to multitask, running different programs at the same time, kind of like a nonlinear flow. And Ken also helped Dennis Ritchie, who I mentioned earlier, create the C programming language. When they started Unix, they were using Fortran, and Dennis and his team, including Ken, they made the B programming language, which I didn't know existed. I didn't know there was a B programming language, and then they made C. So, C is a pretty well used programming language. Afterwards, notably in his career, Ken had a love for chess, and he built chess computers. And I think at least one of his designs won the World Computer Chess Championship. And I think a couple of his designs were runner-up and third place. It's kind of interesting to hear Ken talk about, not only was it in the early days, not only was it software and algorithms, it was actual design of the computer, the wiring affected the speed of how certain operations were done. So, I don't know a lot about chess, but traps or something that was computer intensive, and he had to design the wiring to not take forever to calculate these certain chess moves. So that's pretty interesting. And Ken is he's got a lot of awards for his work throughout his career. He got inducted in the National Inventors Hall of Fame. He is awarded by that IEEE Engineering Society. And so that's, in summary, he's mostly known for doing Unix, and I don't know too much about the area of servers and all the back-end stuff. I think they still use a lot of Unix or Linux today. So that was Ken's doing, and he was just he was just a passionate guy about computers, and he was able to accomplish so much. Some of the people I meet in school are kind of like that. I don't know if I am, maybe not about computer programming. So it's kind of interesting. Some of these people I might know might create the next big thing. Here are the sources I used, and I hope you enjoyed my little video. Thank you.